Well, this has been from AGFA, and today what we're looking at is the UI, so user interface. So how do we do that inside of Unreal? So every sort of engine has their own way of calling it. Unity refers to it as canvas, and this one just refers to it as widget. So basically it's just a simple sprite similar to what we're seeing here in the viewport, where we see graphics that no matter where we turn are always consistently attached to the camera, and they can either be clicked on or just give us information as information changes. So to do this, I'm going to go into my blueprints folder, and just to give I guess a bit of a demo of what I've already put together before I get rid of it and then start it again, is I'll open up my main menu map. So this is just a blank map, and then when you press play, you have a menu here. You can either press play to play level or exit game. If I click exit game, it just quits. If I press play level, it'll open up my tavern level here. You'll notice that there's that little blue bar at the top there, that's my health bar, and if I go into the fire too many times, it slowly takes away my health, and then eventually I ragdoll. And now when I ragdoll, after a while, the camera should have gone onto my menu map, but I realize I have linked it into just simply the ragdoll and not the thing. So what should happen is this. The character should die, and then this should come up here, and then we go either play again or main menu. Main menu will go back, and then play level or play again, we'll just respawn them at the start again. So that's what we're aiming for. I've just realized that that particular fire one there is probably not connected to that just yet, but that's okay, we will get to that. So but let's first just focus on what we're doing here, which is creating widgets. So if you've already got a project folder up with the blueprints folder, I'd highly recommend right clicking and putting in that folder. In fact, I'm just going to delete this folder. It's going to warn me and say, hey, it's going to break all this. So I'm just going to be like, no, that's okay. And then we'll start from scratch. So we're just going to start with a very simple game over. So it's a very easy widget to start with. So I'm just going to go back to my tavern sort of one, the one that you've been working on as well, and we're just going to create that folder called widgets. And then to create a widget, I simply right click in the content menu here, go user interface, and go down to blueprint, widget, blueprint. And I can name it, so I'm just going to call this game over. Double click, and that'll open up this window here. So essentially what you want to imagine is that this blue box in the center here is the player screen. It's basically where everything in the UI is going to go and sit. On the left hand side here, I have all the different components that I can use in there. So I have things like borders, buttons, images, text, sliders, progress bars, everything you can imagine. Here is the hierarchy, so when I start putting things in, what's going to move. So when I move the button, does all the text that's on it move with it? And then over the right hand side here we have the details, so what those things are going to actually look like and do. Finally, we've got the timeline down here, so if we want to put animations on things, like have game over slowly fade in, we can do that as well. So I'm just going to start with something very simple. I'm just going to left click and drag this text and drop it into the center here. So it's just a simple drag and drop interface. I'm then going to go here where it says text. Instead of having text block, I'm going to go game over, and then where it says font here, I'm just going to increase that font to say 72, so it's something serious. I can just use this border here, expand that over a bit, and then just move that into the center of the screen here. Cool, so that's that. So let's just see how we'd get that to actually show up. So we've got that there sitting in here, but we've got to make it actually appear when a certain event happens. So inside of our character blueprint, if we go back here to third person blueprints, third person character, we could have something in here that'll go over to the game over screen. Now this is a very simple way of doing it, a very quick way of doing it. It does have problems, meaning that this will only happen with this one particular event. What we should really do is have a consistent sort of thing that's checking, so as soon as our player dies in any capacity, they do this. But we will just simply do that later. For now, I just wanted to show you how you actually get those onto the screen. So here I've sort of got a character desk screen, but just in case you don't have that, if you weren't here last week, I'm just going to quickly put in a simple input, which is just going to be G. And then going to go out from G and go create widget. So this will actually create that widget that we just created, and if you click on here, you can see game over is already there. So owning player, I'm going to left click and drag out of here into the empty space and say get player controller. I'm going to go compile, and so far so good. So basically I press G, it creates a widget and attaches it to this game, to this player. But that's not enough yet. I've also got to go to add to viewport. So the viewport, as we spoke about before, is this thing here. So when we're actually playing the game, we want to be able to actually see this viewport, and we want to add it to that viewport. Return value is anything that is created in here. So we're going to plug that into the target here. So it says, right, create the widget, come over here to viewport, and attach it to that. So let's just test that. I'm going to press play, and then press G, and there is the game over screen. Obviously it's not game over because nothing's happened or anything, but it's just enough for us to be able to test how we create a game widget and how we apply it to there. Okay, so I'm just going to stop this video here just because that's just all I want you to try and do at the moment. And then once we've done that, then we'll start looking at, okay, how can we apply this so that we now have a menu button on there so we can press something that'll either start the level again or exit to main menu. So we'll see you in just a sec.